Hey, good morning, and thanks for coming back to the channel. Unless you've been living under a rock in the last few days, you have seen the videos of the rioting in downtown Chicago. Now, I have to say, I lived in Chicago for 8 years. I lived down in the Loop. The wilding and rampaging of these black teenagers, and that's what they were. They were almost all black teenagers who who felt they were righteous in what they were doing. Uh, they're saying we're being active. That's a code word, and you will hear that from the woke liberal uh, race hustlers and poverty hustlers that are out there. You have a right to be active, to get active. In the military on the battlefield, we call that being kinetic, if you know what I'm saying. So these folks decided that they would spontaneously get out there and lose their minds and do damage to people and oh, excuse me, and property at the same time. In one case that we saw in the video, a couple was assaulted by the crowd. Uh, Fortunately, they weren't injured that badly, but they were assaulted badly. And if it wasn't for a black woman who, I don't know where she came from, but she rescued these two and took them to her house in the hospital and so forth. Uh, my goodness, I'm not going to cut this out. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to keep that in there, right? Uh, so what happened was these kids would jump. They were just looking for stuff to break. They were getting on top of the entrance to the subway. There's a roof, and they were trying to get into the second and third story windows of buildings from climbing on top of that. I mean, these people were trying to find a way to get in and do some serious damage. Um, they packed the streets. So so from a self-defense point of view, there are three situations. One, you are on foot and you get stuck. You walk out of your hotel room and you go, holy crap, and then you're surrounded, right? Or you're coming out of your restaurant and you're surrounded. You have no idea what just happened. What do you do? The second case is you're in your car and you turn a corner and whoosh, you're surrounded. You didn't know what was around the corner. You didn't even know things were popping off. Now you're surrounded. What do you do? The third is you're a business owner and they're coming, and you're inside your business and they're coming to do damage to your business. Now, this happened in the Loop of Chicago. This is the richest and the tourist area of Chicago. So if you are not armed, you are screwed. Let me just put it that way. And if you're not armed with a magazine in your semi-automatic pistol that holds more than 10 rounds, you're screwed. I'm just saying it like that. If you're on foot, you're screwed. And if there's two people, if both of you are not armed, you're really screwed too, right? Because you're going to have to start shooting, and you shoot until you're out of ammo. And by the time you finish shooting, there should be a lot of bodies laying in front of you. And you shoot in the head. If you're on foot, you shoot in the head. You don't shoot in the body. They're close enough to you, you need to shoot the noggin. And you shoot them at as many people in the face as you can. And you do not put your gun out like this, like you do at the range. You go John Wick style. Or CAR, center access relock, which is the technique that he uses when he does that. I've trained in that. Headshots, close quarter combat, and you still might not get out. But there'll be a lot of dead people in front of you. The second, you're in your car. That's 3,000 pounds worth of steel, metal, against people who maybe weigh 150, 140 pounds individually. Uh, if you have your gun, start shooting while you are accelerating, and you run over as many people as you can, because if you stop, they will mash your car, and then they will raise it, and they will make it so you cannot move. So you keep moving and shooting, moving and shooting, moving and shooting. And you don't care. You don't care if this body behind you think zombies are coming. You don't care how many zombies you have behind you. Because if you stop, you let them, it's not about just breaking the glass. They're going to drag you out of your car, and they're going to Rodney King your ass. So the third one, let's talk about that. If you're a business owner today and you are not armed in your business, you're a fool. You're a fool, right? You're a business owner, the thing's starting to pop off, and hopefully you have an AR with a bunch of magazines, right? You don't do the McCluskeys. You don't go stand outside and wave at people. You're inside your business. You lock the door, right? If you can. You tell the people inside to get all the way back behind you and take cover. And then you get up front and you stand so people can see you. And you go to low ready. And you just stand there. You don't say words to anybody or anything. And the first person that actually breaches the boundary, their body doesn't have to come through, but they breached the boundary. They've broken the glass. Then you light them up. Again, headshots. And you light them up till there's nobody left. They either run or they're on the ground. Right? And if they're gone, you just stop shooting. Reload. Right? You wait for the sirens. Police come. Put your weapon down, and you follow instructions. Now, that's what I would do. Those three scenarios are what I would do. Now, this is going to happen more and more and more, because there's a theme out there now that young people, young black people especially, feel that they can go and get active, and that they are authorized to do that. They are permitted to do that. They're encouraged to do that. And the police are helpless because there's not enough of them. And it's going to have, let's go back to Chicago for a minute. This was April. Now, the festival season starts in June and runs through October in downtown Chicago. If that new mayor, that woke, crazy guy, thinks that somehow it's going to be a peaceful summer in downtown Chicago, that is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Those kids from the projects are coming from the west side and the south side, because none of them live down in the loop. They're commuting on the trains or however they get there. They're going to show up. They're going to show up in the parks, and they're going to terrorize the parks, which are gorgeous, all along the lakeshore. They're going to terrorize all the rich folks that try to shop along Michigan Avenue and along the Lakeshore Drive. Right? God help them if a festival pops off, and then they're going to terrorize it. There's going to be shots fired. It's going to be an ugly summer in Chicago. Now, mark my words, because I believe it's going to be terrible. Terrible. And it will come to a city near you. If you have a city, and I'll name them: San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, Manhattan, think Manhattan, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Richmond, Virginia. Why? Because those are states that the citizens can't be armed outside. You won't see that happening in downtown Dallas or Houston. You do see it happening in Austin. Oh, wait, Austin is just like Portland. It is in Texas, but the city is governed by liberal, defund the police people. And that's where they have South by Southwest, and they're gonna have the trouble with that. But in Texas, you're gonna have a whole lot more people armed, citizens armed. And so if people try to do that stuff, there's going to be bodies on the floor. And that is why the anti-gun people are so desperate to stop and have AR bans and to stop citizens from carrying in public, because the police have a different set of rules of engagement than citizens do. All citizens has to do is protect themselves with deadly force, and there'll be little black bodies on the ground everywhere. Trust me. Trust me. So that's my morning rant about this Chicago stuff, because it's going to get worse and it's going to spread. So if you're not armed, get armed. Don't go somewhere where you think there's going to be a crowd. I would not go to a concert. I would not go to an outside concert these days, unless it was in a place where I know that most people are going to be armed, because then it'd probably be pretty cool. Think about where you're going to go. Think about where you're going to go party. Yeah. So, if you like the content, including the sneezing, subscribe. Hit that bell icon when you do. All the comments help, and I try to respond to all of them and all of you that take the time to talk to me. And as always, like I always say, wherever you can, whenever you can, however you can, carry on.